Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to today's post-match press conference after a game against Columbus. We have head coach Pascal Jansen. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We're going to start with Shane, followed by Scott.
Hi Pascal, Shane from New York. Congrats on the win. That's now 23 points from losing positions this season. I'm sure you would rather not be in the losing positions in the first place, but what does that say about the resiliency of this team, and I guess what are you saying to the players at half-time in these games?
Let me just think for a second if I'm going to repeat what I said in halftime. I told my guys that I was so proud of them because the response after the penalty was huge. We were playing a good game. It was, I think, a good game to watch as well from both sides. And to have a penalty decision like that, that was very harsh. So I said to the guys, you saved me from worse going into Saturday maybe. They stayed composed, and that's in general throughout the game. They stayed very composed even though they went 2-1 down after a small error. And then going for the win like they did, that makes me even prouder of my team.
Scott? Hey Coach, how are you? Scott Church of Street Book Soccer.
Hi, Scott.
Just to piggyback off that a little bit, obviously Hannes Wolf's performance tonight, you know, coming back in 2 goals in this case. Just talk about his presence on the pitch tonight. Thanks.
Hannes, I think, showed tonight that he is maybe one of the ultimate team players, I would say, because the task I assigned to him today was slightly different, because you have to respect the fact when you're out of possession that you're going to play a good team, and we chose to play with a flexible 5 line, and he was the guy who came down and had to defend in the left wide area, and he was so disciplined throughout the game and still got himself on the scoreboard, which makes it very impressive, his performance tonight.
Rich?
Coach Rich Mancuso, Latino Sports. How significant was this win tonight, being at the stretch? And based on your last home game here against DC, describe the significance of that.
Well, I mentioned it a couple of games back already that I believe in the fact that once you go into the final stage of the season with around 8 games to go, that's where you either win or lose what you're after during the league. And we were competitive throughout the season, had our ups and downs at a few moments. So going into this stretch with everything still possible, as tight as it is in our league at the moment, going for the playoff spot is 8 finals. So that loss against DC was a big one to swallow, because we were way better than that team that night, but they punished us for some minor mistakes. And that's what it is at this level. So we had to bounce back, and we did, with a good game against Chicago away. And now it was also time to set things straight against the direct opponent again in our own house. And the way they did it was very impressive, and keeps us going towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Javier, City Boys.
Hi.
Earlier in the season, you kind of had that conversation with Julian where he was maybe shooting the ball, but more with power instead of precision. And this goal he reversed that. It was more a precise shot. Is that something you talked to him about? And what was your thoughts on that goal?
Well, like I said about Hannes just now, Juli is in a different space, in a different place, but also similar to Hannes. Juli is in a tough spot at the moment because he's not first choice at the moment. But if you see him every day at our training ground, it is so impressive. So this doesn't surprise me. He stays very professional, very dedicated to what he does during the day, and finishing is one of the topics. As you mentioned, throughout the season, we've discussed it many times. When do you shoot with force? When do you bend it? What kind of technique do you use in certain situations? And if you look at this moment, you see that he tells Seymour to stay away, because he's already made up his mind and took the picture of where he wants this ball to finish, and determine his technique as well. So to bend it in like he did tonight, that's really impressive. So I can only hope he continues like this.
Final one, we'll go in the room right here.
Hey, Ben Land with AM New York.
Hi, Ben.
Hi. So right now, NYCFC is 7 points off the Supporters' Shield. Philadelphia over the weekend lost 7-0 away at Vancouver. You have a game in hand. They played 30, you now played 29, I believe. With tonight's victory and the run of games ahead, Miami, Red Bulls, Derby, and a few other tough matches, what is the aspiration of the team? Is it important? Is the Supporters' Shield in your sights, winning the Eastern Conference, or would be getting in the playoffs? Would that be enough for you for the season?
You're not quite certain about your question, are you?
Well, it's a bit, just wanted to contextualize it now that, it is very close. Started in 9th or a day or two ago and now in 5th. And the race is quite tight. So I'm just curious what the
No, I
condition
understand
is.
why you're curious, but like I said to your colleague just now, it's the final stretch of the season, and there's tough matches ahead. We were playing a couple of tough matches because we don't underestimate any opponent in this league because we simply can't. I would say this to your question. For us, the main focus is winning against Charlotte this Saturday, and then the next game, and the next game. So, and then we'll see at the end. We focus on just the game that's ahead and take it from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.